Good morning, Gary Champion, Psychic Medium again. This morning's a little video about spies. Spies everywhere. Spies to the left, spies to the right. Whew, there's a spy behind me. Our country's, the word they're using is being inundated with spies. Someone's saying they're taking over the airwaves. I don't know what that means. But in an attempt to steal what we have. Actually, that's not what they're saying. They're saying steal our thunder. Sorry, this light's a little creepy. Trying not to wake anybody up. Trying to steal our thunder. People around the world are always stealing our ideas and making them. Countries who make a really terrific TV didn't invent it. We did. VCRs, all those things that came out back then, all the new things, we invented that. So when times are tough, they're looking for, someone saying, new technology to boost their own. And it's not just economic, some kind of a social agenda within their country. People are in deep crap, but if you give them a really neat phone, they tend to be less volatile. Calms the masses. So they're here to steal ideas. I don't think they can undermine the government. I mean, although it seems like we're doing a pretty good job of that right now, it's it's about stealing ideas and influencing idea peddlers. I'm not sure what that means. People influencing people to say things they shouldn't say and maybe don't want to say, but for money they'll say it. So in short, they're impacting our domestic agenda by some people to make things better. They don't want things better, they want things worse. So they're influence peddlers. That's what they're doing. They don't have little berets and guns and their money, which their countries sorely need. They're being used to import spies to attempt to influence the way our government treats them. Isn't that interesting? You can call it spygate. Someone just said spygate. So started back with Watergate. That's where that term came from. Watergate was a building that was an office building that had the Democratic National Headquarters in it back in Nixon's time. I'm sure you've all heard the story. They bugged it, or tried to bug it. They all got arrested, and Nixon and his people all came tumbling down. That's what they're actually saying, came tumbling down. So this is an attempt to influence the public arena in a way that our government will react and lower penalties that have been imposed on. It's economic. But it's also to steal ideas to make the people back home happier because now they have this thing too. Cars, watches, radios, almost anything that ideas they can take and alter a little bit and say it's theirs is what their primary purpose is. After the influence peddling to reduce they're using the word tariffs. You have to excuse me if I'm a little stuttering this morning because the information is coming in little glumps. So makes me appear like an idiot, but that's never bothered me before. Anyway, they're looking into what they can do that they deem necessary to improve their lot at home. So we have two different groups of spies here. We have industrial spies, which are homegrown. They're paying, their spies come here, they find someone who's vulnerable that has a big loan that can't pay it, and they pay him money to steal ideas where they can remanufacture, take home, and say, look, we got one of those too. And a good example is the shuttle, the space shuttle that was around forever and ever and flew all over the place, did experiments and things. Well, at that time, all of a sudden, Russia had it almost looked identical to the space shuttle we had. That's the one that they're showing me. They're showing me a space shuttle sitting on a tarmac in Russia that looked very similar to ours. I mean, a layman like me, they were identical, and yet it never flew. So they probably spent billions of dollars developing that, and yet it never flew. They couldn't get it off the ground. They didn't know how to. Anyway, you get the idea. And subtle things are being said between the lines on radio. Isn't that interesting? Someone will insert one little line in the middle of something, and that's the only thing that they wanted, was that little peddling influence one-liner to turn people's opinion. And then they're playing this interesting song called Rising, where it won't have much of an effect. Just thought you might want to know they're out there. We get kicked in the head periodically. It just happens. Things go kaflooey. And that's what happens in a democratic society. Things are changeable pretty quickly. And then they can change right back very quickly. Because we have freedom to do these things. And these sorts of activities have been around forever. And the Cold War was a good example. Of course, they were really clumsy about that. They would send over agents that didn't speak the language, or their language so poor they were easy to spot. This is a different kind of spygate. These are our own people who, through monetary exchange, you're saying monetary exchange, I'm getting crazy with my hands this morning, I'm Italian now, will do their bidding to influence peddle. And a lot of them are at the heart of our government. I think that's the point they wanted to get to this morning. I didn't know it until just now, but this influence peddling is happening at the top level. Maybe something as simple as, we'll let you build a hotel here for free and finance it if you'll say this or do that. Isn't that interesting? No matter how many of these videos I do, I'm never surprised. This is one I was done to do a couple of days ago. I told my wife about it, and then it slipped my brain completely. And this morning I got up and heard Spygate. I thought, okay, well, spies everywhere. They don't have any effect on our, occasionally there's a little glitch, but these things they have watchdogs that see, it's all of a sudden a guy that was for this is now against it. I mean, then they start checking his finances, find out he got a fresh influx of money. People at the government level, I've said it at least 10 times, they're not very bright. We tend to think of them as bright people. That's why we elect them, but they're not. They're just everyday people like us. And if you need money for something in desperation, you might take it. Anyway, nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Keep on walking. Sort of a negative video, but positive overall because I don't think they have any clear effect on anything that we're doing. Little things maybe, but overall we keep chugging along, which is why big changes are coming and a reversal back to the way things were. Thanks for watching this morning. No fear, no regret, no anger.